We've been fourth generation farmer. My great-great-grandfather homesteaded early in the early 1900s, I believe. And I think this house right here was built in 1913. They originally homesteaded down by the lake, but then they moved up here in the early 1900s. Well, first I had a valve replacement, which I knew eventually I was going to have. And that went pretty well. Then about a week later, I woke up and Donna happened to be gone that day, and I was really dizzy. And I called her and I said, "Well, I think you better come home. I think we're gonna have to go to the hospital." And it kept getting worse, and finally, she called the ambulance for me. And that night I was having surgery, which was they removed about 600 milliliters of old blood from around my heart, and basically I don't remember anything from the next 4 days. And like my oxygen after the surgery, my oxygen level could never really got back up to where it was supposed to be. I suppose I spent about 5 weeks in the hospital. And eventually they said, "Well, we're going to have to transfer you to Mayo," which is where they found out that I had a hole in my heart between the two ventricles that, well, it's kind of common. They said 25% of the people are born with it. In my case, there was too much air going through one side of the heart, which was causing my oxygen levels to be low. So they put in I always forget what it is, honey.
A closure device.
Closure device, which is done through like an aortic surgery. And that seemed to help my oxygen level, but it's still, I'm still weak. It's going to take time, they keep telling me.
Well, we first heard about farm rescue from Kevin's dad, Warren. He suggested that we sign up for it because Kevin would be unable to work this spring.
Well, I think it always is hard to ask for help because you always think, you should be out there doing it, and especially from neighbors when you know they have their own crop to put in. I think that's the hardest part. Farm Rescue planted about 500 acres of soybeans for us over in a 2-day period. Basically, it went pretty well. Weather cooperated well, and the guys are great, and they didn't have any breakdowns, so everything went pretty smooth. I'd say they were done in a day and a half. I realize these guys from Farm Rescue volunteer their time, which I think is awesome. But it's tough to ask for help.
Well, I think the volunteers were fantastic. We had Mike and Fred out here, and I met them, and they did a fantastic job, I think.
Well, they were great. In fact, Mike, I think, is originally from around this area, and I still can't believe it. I even asked Mike, I said, "Well, you do this on your vacation time? Wouldn't you rather be at a beach somewhere?" And he goes, "No." I said, "I love doing this, and I grew up in a farm background, and I take 2 weeks out of the year to do this," and I thought it was awesome that these guys did this. In fact, Fred was from Ohio. He comes all the way from Ohio, basically on his own dime, to do this, and I just have great respect for anybody that does that.
It was fantastic. I think Farm Rescue did a really good job. They came in and they got our crop put in, and I just think they're just awesome.
Well, yeah, it's like Donna says, it was terrific. These guys couldn't have been more helpful and friendly, and yeah, I'd recommend it to anybody that needs help to call them because yes, it was a wonderful experience.
Filling out the application wasn't that hard. Just needed to get some reports and stuff from Kevin on some of the acreage and all that, but it wasn't too hard to fill out.
I never realized how much Farm Rescue helps people, and like I say, Walmart and the bank, Bremer Bank and RDO and all the other sponsors do. I think without them, of course, there would be no Farm Rescue. And I think they do a great job. They just got a super Walmart in Devil's Lake. And
Yeah,
that's,
so basically I do all my shopping at Walmart.
Yeah. Anybody would realize, what they do for the farmers. And this is farming community, because everybody realizes how much the farmers, especially in small towns, how much farmers are valued. So I would encourage any business to sponsor them.
It's definitely a worthwhile organization.
Yeah. I think everybody appreciates Farm Rescue and what they do for the people around here, yeah. I guess I don't really know, I talked to a lot of people about it, but yeah, I think they do a super job, and I think everybody realizes that.